Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video and as a part of our automated CRM series, we're going to connect Calendly with our Airtable CRM. And for this, we're going to use make.com. In this automation, we're also going to qualify the leads based on the answer that they give to us on the Calendly booking page. This system is very similar to the one that we created a couple of days ago in the ManyChat Instagram lead qualification quiz. Because if the leads are below certain points, we will automatically cancel the meeting. All these simple tricks are going to help you to save time meeting only with qualified leads and consequently increase your ticket. So if this sounds good to you, just hit that subscribe button to not miss any chapter on the series. And at the end of it, you will have an automated CRM exactly like the one that we use at my automation agency. And now let's go into the video. Let's start now, but before, we actually have to do a quick overview of all the elements that we're going to put into place. Because obviously we have Airtable, we have Make, and we have Calendly. And we have to make sure that we understand each part of the elements, so at the end, the whole system makes actually sense. Let's start first with Calendly. And as we can see here, we have the typical fields like name, email, website URL, industry. But then the ones that are going to be more important are basically these four. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And why is this? Because each one of those questions is going to say to us if the person is actually serious about the problem or not, and if the person has actually taken action or not. So for example, in this case, do you already know what you would like to create or optimize? If the person, for example, knows it very clear and says yes, obviously for us it's going to be more likely that it's going to be a very good fit because already knows what they want. But if in the other hand the person is just exploring, it's going to be way harder to convert them into customers because they don't have a real pain or they don't have a real need. And in the next one, have you tried something to create or optimize that issue? Same here. If the person has tried many things, it's going to be very likely that we're going to be relevant whenever we offer a solution for them. But if in the other hand, the person hasn't tried anything yet, it's not going to be very likely that that person is going to end up hiring our services because indeed probably the person doesn't have a real pain. Then with the last two, with the size of the company and with the approximate budget, as we see, we offer different possibilities from just me to plus 100 employees, and then from less than 1K to more than 20K. Basically, we're going to try to discover about the economical capacity of that customer or that company. And obviously, depending on the industry, a person that is working alone and has a budget of less than 1,000 may not be really a good fit for our high ticket services. So it really depends on you guys, and you actually have to find your exact formula and assign points however you want. So let's go now to Make, because actually this is what is going to connect Calendly with Airtable. And as you can see here, this is the scenario, and actually we're going to go in depth about it later on. As you can see here, we watch all the events, but actually we should set up a filter here so we only watch the events and we only trigger the scenario when we receive certain types of events. And then when the event is received, then with this OpenAI module, we're going to assign different points. And later on, I'm going to go more in depth to that. And then depending if the person is above our limit or below our limit, we're going to create the record, or we're going to extract the ID of the meeting, and then we're going to cancel it here, and then we're going to send a message here, okay? And now last, let's go into Airtable, because here we actually have to make sure that the options that we offer in Calendly, like just me, 2 to 5 persons, 5 to 10 persons, 10 to 20 persons, etc., actually match perfectly with the options that we offer in Airtable. And here we have different fields. Our main field is going to be the email, but then we also have first name, last name, that in this case we're not going to need it yet, then website, meeting link, the time of the meeting to be scheduled, then the status that actually this comes automatically from Make, and then all the different questions that we have created in Calendly, like the industry, if it is a defined project or not, and this basically means if the person already knows what they want or if they are just exploring, then the project explanation, if they have like some comments about what they actually want, then the solutions that they have tried, the company side, and here we also have some other things that I'm not going to go in depth about them because basically we're going to see them in following videos. And it is very important that here we are offering the exact same option sets that we are offering in the Calendly booking page. So one thing that I've just realized is that in the Calendly page, I actually offer different possibilities than in the Airtable page. And what is going to happen here is that if, for example, someone books 10,000 to 20,000, the Airtable record is not going to be created because we are going to receive that error. So I should need to change it, but I'm going to do later on. So now that we have done already this quick overview that is going to help us to understand how the CRM is going to be structured and how we are going to be linking the different fields, I want you to go to the integrations and apps tab inside Calendly, okay? And then we're going to click in API and webhooks. Here, we're going to generate a new token that in this case is going to be test token, and then we're going to create the token. In this case, I'm not going to create it because I connected it already, but it would be as easy as that. So now we're going to go to the make scenario, and then we are going to add and create the connection, the Calendly connection. And here we just need to click in add and then type Calendly. In my case, it's not there because it's already in favorites, but if you haven't used that module in the scenario, it's going to be in the list. So you just have to make sure that you actually select the one in the list. So we're going to add any module here. It can be Calendly Set Up, it can be whatever we want, okay? And then we're going to create a new connection. So the connection, we're going to name it as we want, and then we're going to click in Save. And then, as easy as this, we're going to connect Calendly with Make, and it's going to be ready to go. So here, we wouldn't need to do anything else. I'm going to go back, by the way, to my connection, and I'm going to delete this module. So once we have created the connection and that everything is ready to go, we're going to start creating the questions in Calendly. And actually creating the questions in Calendly, it's super easy, but I want to make sure that everyone follows it. So here, we can basically go here and add new questions, and we're going to select the type of question that we actually want. So for the name, email, company, and website, we're going to select one line answer type. But then for the questions that are going to qualify the prospect, we're going to select dropdown in this case, okay? So here in the dropdown, as I said to you before, we have to make sure that the options that we actually write perfectly match with the options that we have in Airtable. Because if the options that we have here, for example, here we have like 1000, but we write it with a dot instead of writing it with a comma as we have in Airtable, then we're going to have issues and it's not going to work. So here we have the comma, and here we also have this symbol, so it's not going to work by any chance. So my recommendation is that basically first you create the Airtable database, and then once you create the Airtable database, you are going to simply copy paste the different options. So in this case, we're going to go here, and then we're going to copy paste all the different options, okay? So I'm not going to do it because it's basically, you don't want to see that, but it's basically as easy as that. And here basically we're going to create all the different questions, like have you tried something to create or optimize that issue? And here we're going to see the options that we actually offer in Airtable. Tried many things, only thought, not yet, whatever. And it's very important that these questions are set to on, because if it is off, we're not going to see the questions, because if they are off, the potential customers is not going to be the questions. So just make sure that the drop-down answers matches perfectly with the drop-down options that we offer in Calendly, okay? And everything is going to be ready to go. And now I'm going to show exactly how to create the make scenario and what is the prompt that we're going to be using. So as we have here, the automation is going to start with the Calendly watch events. And in this case, it's going to watch all the different types of events, the canceled events, the reschedules, and all of them. So here, actually, we would just need to set up a filter and filter only the event that we actually want it to work. So in this case, we would set up something like name, that we're going to see it here. So a scheduled event name equals to our scheduled event, that in my case is 30 minutes call. And with this filter, we're going to make sure that only the events that has the name of 30 minutes call are going to pass through the filter, and the automation is going to run. So in the next module, we're going to be using GPT-4 Turbo. And basically, we're going to send this prompt. We're going to select all the questions that are actually qualified, that in this case is the one in position number 3, position number 5, position number 6, and position number 7. And then we are going to give this prompt to assign the different points. So what we're going to do here is basically copy paste the different options that we offer in Calendly and then paste them into this prompt. And then we're going to say, hey, assign 20 points, assign 10 points, assign 0 points. Here we can do it with a JavaScript as well, but it's not so convenient, and actually with OpenAI it works perfectly and it's way more easy to set up. So I just prefer to do it that way. So just make sure that the values that we are sending in the prompt actually match with the ones that we have in Calendly, and then just assign the points that we want. In my case is 20, 0 for most of the cases, then also we start in 5 for some of the cases, and then we also assign 30 points for this case. But you can actually set your points as you wish. Then, very important as well, all the values are cumulative. Please provide the final number and reply only with the number, because sometimes OpenAI is going to reply, hey, the final number is this. And if OpenAI replies with the final number is this, then when we are setting up the router here, is not going to work. So here, this router is actually super important, because basically we're going to take the message from OpenAI here, for example, 80 points that we saw. And then this router is super important, because here we're going to create a filter that basically if the points are greater than or equal than 40 or our limit, then we're going to go and create a record. But if otherwise are less than 40, then we're going to extract the ID of the event, we're going to cancel the event, and then we're going to send a message to the prospect. So here what we have to do is basically select the choices, then go to message, and then go to content, and then basically type our numeric operator here that needs to be greater than or equal, okay? So in this case, it's greater than or equal 40, and the other option is basically less than 40, and the process is exactly the same. And here, if we want to create the record, we actually have to make sure that we map all the different fields. So for example, email, we're going to map it with email. Name, we're going to map it with name. Then website, we're going to map it with the first question and answer. And here you may ask, how do we know what is the position of the question and answer that we are actually displaying here? Is it 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, 6? What is this exactly? So we're going to go to the Calendly page, and here basically we're going to see Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7, and basically this is telling us the specific position of the answer so we can actually map it properly. And then here in meeting link, it's very important that we actually select the join URL, because this join URL we're going to be using in other scenarios in incoming videos. So here we just need to go to scheduled event, then location, and then join URL, and then we just have to map it here. So I'm gonna delete it, and that's gonna be it. Then here, we're going to create and send a message saying that, hey, we're canceling the meeting, and we're canceling the meeting because of this. So it's going to be something like a name. Unfortunately, based on the answer that you have given, we may not be a very good fit to work together this time. Anyway, best of the luck, and if you have any particular question, just feel free to reply to this email, best Borja. And here we're going to map the email address. So as you can see, it's a very simple email. And this way, we're not going to even to include the new record on Airtable. And now we're going to do a quick test where I book a call, and then you're going to see how it actually goes to Airtable. So I'm not going to show the whole process, but I'm going to show how the system works once I book the meeting. As you can see here, I have filled all the different information that we need to run the test. Okay, so now I'm going to go to make, and I'm going to click in run once. And I'm also going to go to the Airtable CRM, so you see that there is absolutely nothing here. And then I'm going to basically click on schedule event and then go back to make, so we see the automation running. Okay, so schedule event. And now let's quickly go to make, and now we're going to see how this actually works. And as you can see here, this router actually worked, and we created the record and we didn't cancel it. Okay, so now let's go to Airtable and let's check it. And as you can see here, we have the information. So guys, this is a very simple way of automatically qualifying your lead. So I'm going to leave a link in the description in case that you actually want to buy this template. And with the template, it also comes the Airtable database and all the instructions that you actually need in order to create this scenario. So guys, if you like the video, as always, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.